Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using White Newman, a sacred animal tarot created by Elba BG. Elba BG, if I can spell it out. On the bottom here is the website Liminal 11. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested, of course. Supportive Oracle cards. Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. I did find the website I was looking for last week. Here's the information on the back of the box, if I can get the glare off if you want to see it. There we go. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you want to. The Colette website is on the back of the book. It's at the end of the paragraph where you see her picture. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. There's some other information. Again, just freeze frame and check out what you're interested in if you are. Okay, what do we have for Capricorn? I'm like super excited for you, and I have no idea why. Which is not bad, of course, but like super excited. Like, I don't know. I feel like something great is gonna happen. Okay, all good cards. What? Okay, we have things going on around you. Good cards around you. Somebody like really is all about Capricorn at the moment. Definitely. I wouldn't call it a sunshine rainbow reading, but it is pretty good. And we don't mind that, do we? You have a connection with somebody already is what I'm getting. You have a connection with somebody already. And it's about on what terms do we match and what terms do we not. Very realistic energy. I mean, you're Earth. So being realistic is like, that's a kind of a given. There's a lot of flavors to Capricorn, I know. Your sun sign is probably Capricorn or something else in there, but there's a lot of different things that add up to a person. You're not just a Capricorn, you're a lot of other flavors added in. That being said, the realistic part that I'm looking at is like, I feel like for the people this is going to hit with, you already know that like, there's going to be some things that you match with people and other things that you don't. And it's the key is to like accentuate where you do connect and like address where you don't. And is that gonna sink the ship, or can we deal with it? Can we work with it? Can we work around it? Whoever this person is, they do have more commonalities to you than I feel like they've previously acknowledged. They might have been fighting it. Okay, this is interesting. It reminds me of somebody who like there are people out there who have fire and earth in their personality. They have both. Those are conflicting energies. Fire can be very random. Earth is very structured and regimented. When it's in one person, it kind of reminds me of lava. Kind of like it just goes where it wants to, and it can create a lot of destruction if it's not contained well. Even if you can contain it. This is somebody who has definitely they have some commonalities with you, but I feel like they used to fight it, and they've come to that point where they're starting to address that. Like, you know what? I'm more like Capricorn than I realized. I have more traits in common with Capricorn you as a Capricorn person than I actually wanted to admit. This reminds me of when people grow up and they're like, I'm nothing like my mother, I'm nothing like my father, I'm nothing like my parent. And they're like, no, I'm not. And then, they're in their 30s and like, oh, F-bomb, I am. Like, I totally am. It's like, it doesn't happen to everybody, but some people are like, yeah, I'm them. Yep, I'm them. Totally them. Or I have characteristics of theirs. Like of my parents, I can say that for me. Both of my parents, I have some of their characteristics that I did not want, and then later on I'm like, yep, nope, totally got that. Totally have that. They are addressing it on their own terms. Are they talking to you about that? At least, have they up to this point? No. That was just a flat out no. 17 upside down is the star card upside down. That's right side up, I would say communication. Upside down, no. I'm getting for this reading, and take it with a grain of salt. If they have, great. But I feel like for the majority of you, no. I also get the Four of Pentacles upside down. Like, I don't feel like we've bridged the gap here. I don't feel like we have built the bridge across. I don't feel like we've healed that part yet, or like mended it, I should say, if that needs mending. So even for those of you that maybe there has been a literal conversation about this very subject, I don't feel like the healing has really taken hold yet, for whatever reason. But it's about to. It hasn't happened yet, because I got the star upside down for like the past. I got the star right side up for where you're going. So there is some very intense communication. I would say intense. I don't know if I would say direct. Maybe. You do have the Emperor here. The Emperor is strategic, but can be extremely direct. The Emperor, one of the downsides of the Emperor, well, you can decide for yourself if you think it's a downside. Not everybody thinks it's a downside. But the Emperor can use the truth as a weapon. You can decide for yourself if that's a good thing or a bad thing. There is a very... I'm shying away from this conversation because I do think it's going to be colorful, eventful. Let's use the word colorful, because there's a lot of colors out there. And I mean, it's going to move things forward. I'm not really confident it's going to be a comfortable conversation. I do feel like it kind of pops out of nowhere. Capricorn is not... I don't think of Capricorn as backing down. I actually feel like I'm Capricorn heavy in my family. There's a lot of them. More times than not, they will... Whether they should or shouldn't, doesn't matter. They will dig in their heels and they're like, oh, you were not pushing me. That's what I've noticed from Capricorns. Like I said, my family is Capricorn heavy. They don't back down. Like, if you can't push a Capricorn. That's the worst thing you can do for anybody. Even like I've seen Capricorns try to push other Capricorns. That doesn't work either. And whatever this is coming in, I feel like it comes in very fast. It's a very bold conversation. That conversation's going to go the way that conversation's going to go. The trick is, when you step away from it, try to reevaluate it as soon as possible and try to grab the positives out of that as much as you can. Get the value out of that conversation as much as you can, as soon as you can, so your mind can have the freshest memory of like what came out of that conversation, because there's going to be a lot of it that kind of, I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know if it's making you mad, because it seems like you have a very calm energy with it. But like, if you remember, and you remember immediately after the conversation's over, and you pull out the positives. So if I'm going to use an analogy, I worked for a financial institution years ago on the phone, and sometimes it would start right off where they were like throwing F-bombs at you. It's just how the thing goes boop, and then they're like, greeting you with profanity because they're unhappy. And usually what I would do, I would step back and I would just not take it personally. I just didn't, because I'm like, they don't know me. It was a phone center, you know what I mean? But I would listen. I would try to get all the pieces of information, like, okay, their account. I would try to get their name. You could tell they would have a very colorful story, probably not very flattering for me, what happened and how I was a jerk because I was a part of the bank and blah, 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 or the financial institution, whatever it was. But I would pick out the pieces that I could use, and I would just build, like, get in the I would hear their name. I would try to find, their account number if I get it, verify it however I needed to, and then get in there, and I would try to sort out, like, what actually happened and, like, explain what I'm seeing, and then ask, like, try to be careful what questions I would ask to get out of it. This is kind of after the conversation, but I would hunt the conversation to get what I needed out of the conversation, to get as much value out of it, and I would step back from the profanity. I'm not saying I would accept it. I wasn't interested in it, and I was thinking, I'm not fixing this person. I'm not stopping how they communicate. So I'm just trying to get what I need so we can solve it and move on. And that's what I'm getting from this, is kind of like, we want to pull out the value from it, as much value as we can, because I do feel like there's like a chilling energy coming out afterwards. The Eight of Cups is kind of like there's another advancement from this. That conversation might be... I'm not convinced that that conversation is going to be one that you would put in the pleasant category. But there is there might be a mediator coming in and smoothing it out between you and whoever this is. There's this outside influence of somebody putting in the work and realizing that things can go better. If you can grab the value in that conversation and hold it, find the value and hold it, I feel like you can. It's something where I can move forward and I can build from that. Whatever this conversation was, if it was inappropriate, I would say yes, that needs to be addressed. But whoever this third party is, I keep getting like a third party with the Eight of Cups, which is typically like somebody walking away from something good to move on to something better. But I feel like this is somebody trying to take a situation that's probably acceptable the way it is, but they're trying to move it forward to the next level. I feel like this is somebody trying to advance something that they're normally not a part of. That's what I keep getting. I'm more of an intuitive reader, just to be fair. I mean, I know what the cards mean, but I go with the intuitive energy. I just do. This person's going to put in a lot of work because they feel like this connection can go a lot better. They're going to help you get along with this person in a way that you didn't think was possible. This only happens if you're open to it. Only. If you don't want it, no dice, no way. You know what I mean? If you're not going to roll the dice, nobody's playing a game here. You have the ability to hold. You have the ability to hold back. I don't feel like that's news. You know that. Capricorn is very strong at holding the line. If you don't want to move forward, you will not move forward. This situation can be good. Also, like, not only getting the value out of the conversation, trying to find those pieces of value, also evaluating the person talking to you and like how good can, I don't know. They probably have traits and ways they communicate as it is. There can be advancement. This can go better. I don't know. I feel like if I look at this person a little bit more objectively, if that's fair, they have personality drawbacks. They just do. I'm not saying you should accept anything, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. If you look at it objectively, I feel like you'll see something and be like, well. Because there's no controlling this energy, whoever this other person is. I don't know what to say about that, but you can get something out of it. The thing is, you can hold the line and not let it advance if you want to. All right, keep that in mind, because you are very strong. And if somebody pushes the button and you're deciding no, then it's no. Nobody can make you move forward. You know that. Nobody can make you move forward. Things can advance. Things can be good. The person who's getting involved, that third-party person, apparently highly values you and the other person. If things advance, I feel like it makes them feel really good, but not in the sense of like accolades, but in the sense of like the fact that things are going well. I also feel like this third party, if they're allowed to help y'all, they don't take it for granted, and they don't think it's going to be like, okay, we fixed it, we can move on. I feel like this is something they're looking at like we have to tend to it, we have to care for it. It's like tending a field. You know, you gotta, from the planting of the seed to the harvest to the next year, it's like something you always have to look at. There may be periods of rest, but still it'll always come back. You still have to go look after it. You still have to tend after it. It's like taking care of a farm. You always have to look after it. It's not self-sufficient. You have to take care of it in some respect. That's how they're going to look at this. But this person sees a lot of value in you and a lot of value in this other person and likes to see that working well. Like this person sees a lot of value in you, and I feel like that's something. They see big picture potential here, and they're going to try to make things work out as best as possible. They seem to understand that like you need to be honored in a respectful way, and they're trying to work at that as much as possible to make that work in your favor. They also understand that like you only put in what you're going to get out. Like you're not going to be used. Nothing like that's going to happen here, and they don't want that for you. But they keep that in mind in the sense of like when you put in the effort, they make sure that you see the effort coming out of it. So they will keep you in the loop that sense. Like, you did this, Capricorn, that went well, and this is why. Here, I wanted to show you how that paid off, how this went well. They're going to try to keep you in the loop in that sense. Because I'm talking to it, and this is basically what's going on, these cards. Whoever that person is cares a lot about what's going on, and they're going to keep you in the loop, and they're going to let you know the effect of what's going on. They're going to make sure you see and are understanding, like, everything you do is making a difference. They want you to know that. Because they feel like if you don't know that, if you're just doing something and you're not seeing a positive result come back, you're going to be like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I'm not here to waste my time. I don't even know if my time is being used. I have no idea. If you don't see the outcome, you're not going to be happy. If you don't see the benefit, you're not going to be invested in the situation. Capricorn does not waste their time. Not that this situation would be a waste of time if you didn't know the outcome, but I feel like you're not going to be motivated to keep going if you don't see the positive effect you're having. So they're going to keep you in the loop about that, and I feel like that's extremely important to you. I keep getting this analogy, and I don't know why I'm shying away from it. It could be like a child or somebody you helped raise. It doesn't have to be a daughter or a son, or I don't know. If it's somebody that I feel like is younger than you that you had a hand in raising. Feel like it's something like that. I do feel like this person means something to you. I don't think you'd waste your time on this. And the person keeping you connected wants you to know that your effect is very positive here. The fact that you're giving this person a chance is making positive movements forward for them. So I feel like I want to be connected to a point, and I feel like this person helps you stay connected on terms that are more comfortable for you and more advantageous. Like, if this person that you're helping, or the person who is admitting that they have more commonalities with you than they don't, if they become difficult, you can have more of a hands-off, and this other person takes over, and they might do that third-party connection where the third-party person asks you what you think, and they bring it back and forth between you and this other person because the other person is having a difficult time. So that way you don't have to deal with all that roughness, but you still get your input in there. When they're more easy to deal with, you are maybe more direct with them, more direct connected. They might help you with that as well. I think we're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.